Hello everyone and welcome to SkShadow. Welcome back to another episode of our F1 My Team career mode, and this time we are at Japan. So as you can see, we've got a fair few days to plan some activities. So I go for the PR filming because that will give us some team acclaim. Go for a funded team event that will boost the morale of the various departments that we have, and then do a reaction training which will give our teammate +1 awareness, so hopefully it'll be a little bit better.
I know
You can see on the 3rd of October
to come through,
one of our developments on the chassis has failed, so we have to restart that, but that's now going to come after the Japanese Grand Prix, which is very disappointing, but we do get a engine upgrade instead, so not too much of an issue.
Listen up everyone. They've announced that the technical regulations are changing for next season. Now there's a risk a lot of our hard work could be undone if we're not careful, so let's figure out how to mitigate this. Drivers, take a look at the developments we have and let us know what you want to invest in protecting. Alright everyone, let's get on top of this.
So yeah, as I expected, the technical regulations are changing, so that means we're going to have to spend some resource points to adapt our current upgrades. But weather forecast wise, it is dry in the qualifying and pretty much dry in the race, apart from right at the end, where it's going to rain a little bit apparently, so that's certainly going to make things a little bit interesting. Performance wise, you can see we are getting closer to Haas and Alfa Romeo, but we're still below them at the moment. And you can see the departments that have been affected are the engine department and the aero department. So what we've got to do is spend 50% of the resource points that it costs to do the upgrades, and then that means it will protect them, so that basically if we didn't protect them we would lose them going into next season, and we really don't want to have to undo all the hard work we've done. But you can see with the resource points we had, I was able to protect the whole aerodynamic department. We've only got 3 upgrades for the engine, so we should be able to do that quite easily. You can see the internal combustion engine is pretty much broken by this point, so I decide that I'm going to go ahead and take a new engine component of every single bit of the engine. We're going to be pretty much guaranteed to start at the back, but we would have got a 10-place grid penalty for just changing the ICE anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You can see we are 7th and 8th in the driver standings and 6th in the constructors. So we are into qualifying now. It really doesn't matter where we end up, as well, we've got the grid penalties, so we're going to be last anyway. But this is me going to do my first lap, and then I realise just at the bottom right of your screen you can see that red marker. That's showing that the engine is well, absolutely fully warm, and we can't do a quali lap on that. And you can see what has happened here. So basically in the practice I choose the more worn components, you know, so we have fresher components for the race, but you have to change them back before qualifying, and I forgot to. So yeah, we're basically not going to be able to do a qualifying run, because there's not enough time to be able to change the components back. So as you can see, we end up last in qualifying. Our teammate ends up 20th with a 129.17, which I suppose isn't terrible, but he's below eye lot in the Williams. Let's see where this takes us in the race.
We come to you live today from the Mie Prefecture in the south of Japan's Honshu Island for a race that has seen many title deciders over the years. Some simple, some controversial, but all contributing to a legacy that makes the Japanese Grand Prix an indispensable stop in any Formula One season. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, Sebastian Vettel and Ricciardo, Leclerc, Norris, Gasly and Alexander Albon, Ocon, Sainz, Kimi Raikkonen and Giovinazzi, Russell, Magnussen, Roman Grosjean and Callum Island. Latifi, Kvyat, they've taken a grid penalty. Stroll and the engineer. And now it's time to head down to the track.
So yeah, you would have seen just then that our teammate actually got a 5-place grid penalty, so he's alongside us at the start. But you can see we're doing a soft to hard on lap 9. This lights out and away we go. Looks like Hamilton got a terrible start. You can see Bottas pretty much alongside him straight away. You can see our teammate is already on the inside of the AlphaTauri there as we go for a massive dive bomb around the AlphaTauri. We are side by side, almost catching up with our teammate there, pretty much making it 3 wide. But yeah, we're still side by side with this AlphaTauri as we go a little bit wide and clip the grass, which certainly isn't going to help us. So 30 seconds into lap 1, we haven't improved at all. We are down 20 seconds. You can see our teammate is actually in 19th. Bear in mind though, our teammate Ilot and Kvyat in the AlphaTauri are all on softs, whereas we and Latifi are on mediums at the moment. So we're going to have slightly different tyre strategies as we go for a dive bomb alongside Kvyat there, yellow flag for some reason, but we just get the traction down, use all the overtake we can, and we seem to have managed to just about get past Kvyat, but you can see he's still like a 10th behind us, so the job certainly isn't done yet. But next on our list is Latifi ahead of us in the Williams, and you can see we are getting very, very close to him, right in his gearbox, and we go side by side there. And it looks like we just about managed to get the move done going into this left-hander here. And going into the braking point, we go for an unexpected dive bomb on our teammate. I just ended up braking a little bit later than I should have done. But it allowed us to get past our teammate. So by lap 2, we're actually up to P19 now from P22. So pretty good overall. Ahead we've got Ilot in the Williams, so we should hopefully be able to catch up to him reasonably quickly. But then ahead of him is Grosjean on the softs in the racing point. I'm not sure why he's all the way down there. I assume he got a penalty or something. But yeah, we're not going to be catching up to him anytime soon. Stroll's still sticking behind us, about 5 tenths, but you see skipping ahead to the end of lap 2. We are very, very close to Ilot now. Side by side, going to the big braking zone, and we completely outbrake ourselves, lock up a little bit, and we have to come onto the track back behind Ilot and just ahead of Stroll. We're having to use the tiny bit of overtake that we had left to keep ahead of Stroll. As you hear, we've got DRS enabled as well, so that's going to allow us to hopefully stick with the guys ahead. But there is only one DRS zone, which is the pit straight, so it's not hugely useful here. As you see, we do a little bit of a corner cut there, but we didn't really gain much of an advantage. But you can see going into the sweeping set of corners here, we are still very, very close behind Ilot, and we chuck on the rich, we chuck on the overtake, and you can see we are going for pretty similar move than last time, but we get it done a lot earlier, so nowhere near the braking zone. We still do actually outbrake ourselves a little bit, and we go quite slow there, but we do stay ahead of Ilot. But still, we've got Grosjean ahead. It somehow hasn't managed to get that racing point past his old teammate Magnussen yet. We're having to use quite a lot of overtake to keep Ilot ahead of us there. But yeah, you can see Ilot is very, very close, and we actually make a little bit of contact. He goes for what I'd say is a very late dive bomb, and we end up with a little bit of broken wing, which is not good at all. That's going to make us very, very slow until our pit stop. As you can see there, just the front right of our wing is orange on the screen, which means that it is pretty damaged, and you can see I'm already feeling the effects. The braking zones suddenly become a lot earlier, and you just can't carry as much speed through the high-speed corners. So yeah, overall we're going to be a lot slower. You can see behind us Kvyat has managed to get past our teammate Stroll, so we're going to have him to contend with, and ahead of us of course is still Ilot, and somehow we are actually managing to keep up with him. We go for a dive bomb, And we make a little bit of contact. We get a warning, and he is out of the session. And we bring out a VSC, so our little bit of contact there has actually caused iLot to be out of the session. I mean, you can make your own mind up on whose fault that was. I'd say it's a racing incident, went for a dive bomb, just like he did, and he didn't concede, so we made contact. But either way, we move on to lap 5. The virtual safety car is over. Ahead of us is still Grosjean, but he's like 5.5 seconds ahead now. So we're not going to be getting anywhere near him as we watch Kvyat make a very, very easy pass on us. And you can see Stroll is very, very close to us as well, actually. But we are ahead for the time being. At this point, I am thinking perhaps just letting Stroll by, because quite frankly, I am a lot slower due to my broken front wing. And I'm on the mediums, so he should just be quicker than me overall anyway, because he is on a faster tyre set, and you can see I slow down a little bit there just to let him past. So effectively doing team orders, pretty much saying to myself to let your teammate past, he is quicker than you. And I do so. Behind us is Latifi. He's actually within DRS zone at the moment, although skipping on to lap 9, Latifi is now 3 seconds behind, so we have actually managed to pull away from him. And Gasly is also behind us. I don't know if he's pitted then, I'm not sure, but he wasn't. Anyway, he's 3 seconds behind. At this point, I'm thinking I might be able to reach the rain and only do a 1 stop, but ultimately, with the wing damage, I'm not so sure. But the guys ahead are doing pit stops now. You can see they're all pretty much going on to the hards. And we end up P12 with Vettel very, very close behind. And then Verstappen just behind him. Ahead, somehow Grosjean still hasn't got past... Well, this time it's Russell rather than Magnussen. But yeah, he hasn't managed to get past either Haas. I mean, I knew in the game he's quite slow, but that is horrendously slow at the end of the day. And you can see I decide instead that we are going to just dive into the pits very early, and we still had another fair few laps until we were supposed to come in, but you can see it's going to be a pretty long pit stop because we're changing to hards and also changing our front wing there. And you can see overall the pit stop took 9.3 seconds. So yeah, pretty slow, and unsurprisingly, we feed out in last. And you can see Stroll is now 9.5 seconds ahead, and he's pitted as well. So we've definitely lost a fair amount of time there. Pretty much both of our cars, us and Stroll, are now rock bottom. We are right at the back. To be honest, I was kind of expecting that. One, because we both started pretty much last, but two, because of the car. This track is very much not suited for our car. I mean, it's got a few long straights, so engine wise it's quite good, but our car is pretty crap on both the aerodynamics and almost last on the chassis. So yeah, we are very, very slow there. As you see, Latifi has finally gone into the pits on lap 13 to swap his old mediums to new hards, and it's a very, very tight dash to the line there, and you see we come out just ahead of him, only just. Very, very, very close there, but yeah, we are ahead of the Williams there, so we're now no longer rock bottom. We are second to last, obviously not including the other Williams that ended up out of the race after our little bit of a collision. You see Stroll, we are actually pretty much keeping with the pace of him now that we have a brand new front wing, about 9.5 seconds. We've actually gained a little bit of time there, but you can see, skipping ahead to lap 20, the first drops of rain are showing. For now, the hards are perfectly fine. It's only a light drizzle, but if it stays like this for a while, it's not going to be long until all the teams are possibly thinking about going on to Inters. You can see I've already made up a 7.5 second gap to the Williams behind. So it's showing you that even though we have quite a slow car for this track, it's nowhere near as slow as the Williams.
For the foreseeable future. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
Yeah, Jeff is telling us that dries seem like the best tyre for now, and it's going to be like this for the foreseeable future. So as there's more rain, there's going to be more standing water, and it's going to get increasingly difficult to actually control the car. At this point on lap 21, I'm already feeling it.
We expect the grip levels to start falling away soon.
Yeah, and you hear Jeff telling us that the grip levels are expected to start falling away soon there. That's mainly because of tyre wear, but also because the surface is getting very, very slippery.
The forecast suggests this rain is going to keep getting stronger for at least the next 15 minutes. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
And there's Jeff telling us that the rain is going to be getting stronger over the next 15 minutes. So, yeah, it's not good at all. You can see behind us, Latifi has actually gone into the pits as we go very, very deep there. And yeah, on lap 23, these hards are practically impossible to drive with. You can see braking points are all over the place. There's absolutely no grip at all on this track, just sliding about everywhere. Because of course we are on slicks, which have no tread pattern to disperse any water. So yeah, we're going to be very slow, and you can see I choose the option to box exactly at the same time as Jeff thinks that it's time to come in, and you can see we're going hugely slow there. We've already lost a huge amount of times at Stroll. He's like 9 seconds ahead now when he was 7.5 one lap ago, and this is us finally managing to get round the circuit and dive into the pits. And now we're in. This should be a much faster stop than last time, as there's no front wing change, but it is still 3.9 seconds, which is pretty slow. That is mainly because Stroll came in as well, and the game doesn't do a fantastic job of doing double stacking, so even if they came in 30 seconds before you, your pit crew is still going to be slower, just because the teammate had been in previously. So it doesn't really make a huge amount of sense, but we come out and Latifi is 0.7 behind us. So that, you know, rather big gap we did have on him is definitely reduced there, but you can see that is us crossing the line to finish in P19. You can see Hamilton managed to win the race in the end after a terrible start. Yeah, we ended up P19 because Magnussen had to seemingly, well, he's 3 laps down. I don't know why that is. I think that's a glitch in the game. But our teammate Lance Stroll is ahead of us, and we are 7th, and he is dropped to 10th. That's mainly because Ricciardo had an amazing result, to be honest. He ended up 4th, I think it was. So yeah, he got a lot of points. And constructor standings, we are still 6th. But yeah, that's the end of today's episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that fantastic action. But other than that, that's it from me. Good night.